Michigan State goes to the barn, pulverizes Minnesota in traditional Michigan State basketball fashion. Are the Spartans back?
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. If you win that first $5 bet, visit FanDuel.com to get started. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Spartans. Maybe your second one of the day here. That's right. If you're looking for signing day reaction and coverage, did that a few hours ago. It's already on the YouTube feed. It's already in your podcast. Go ahead, mosey on back there, because right now we're talking that 90-72 hoops victory for Michigan State Spartans, but not just me babbling on and on and on. No. We got Sam Martin, old friend of the program. Cannot wait to have him back. And Sam, we're going to get ahead of our skis here. Look, in that win, Michigan State 12, Spartans score 7 guys with at least 8 points. You have a double-double by Jaxon Kohler. Coen Carr leads the way with 12 points, but Sammy, rebound, run, and defend. The old cornerstones of Michigan State basketball. You want rebounding? Well, they did it. 39-27 was the advantage. They started the game with the 18-3 advantage on the boards. You want some running over there? Well, they had 27 fast break points. You want defending? Well, okay, it wasn't so hot in the second half, but overall they kept Dawson Garcia very inefficient. He was just 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3, and they did enough to put the clamps on in the first half and coast to a double-digit game the entire way. Now, when I say Michigan State Hoops is back, Sam, I'm not saying like they're a top 5 team. They're going to be guaranteed to go to the Final Four. I'm just saying visually, optically, stylistically, is this not the Michigan State that we grew up to love as children, Sam? Is Spartan basketball the way we love it back? Is it?
These last 2 games, Matt, they have been playing the hits. And
yes,
there was a time in the UNC game where Izzo literally ran the double high ball screen baseline cut lob play, like the Cleaves to Peterson play. It got broken up, and I think maybe Carr got fouled, but he's back. He's got to be like a pig in a pig
nice
in
one.
Nice
one
with his
good save
with this roster and the way that they're playing this team. The overall thing I saw really in this game tonight was that Michigan State was deeper, played way harder. They were more aggressive, and they had some periods where they turned the ball over foolishly, but for the most part, very clean, just ethical hoops. Just as you said, the fundamentals, offensive rebounds, like Kohler really
amazing,
dominating the boards in this game. Getting out in transition after makes on the other team. Carr had some like 2-way sequences just going back and forth that were insane. Like I was thinking, like, is he sort of like the Jason Richardson, Brandon Dawson sort of like descendant?
That's who I've been saying. Brandon Dawson is Coen Carr, baby. That's right. Yeah. There's something there.
So yeah, it was just, it was like we were seeing like echoes of all of these great moments and plays and players in Spartan history and the way this team plays. And for a lot of the year, the shots haven't fallen. Today, they were 50% from 3. So obviously it's going to look great when they shoot that well. But the thing is, they took 22 3-pointers, were 18 or 19 of them like wide open, uncontested, off a pass into the shooting pocket, or just like walking into it. They're generating wide open looks. Anyway, we've got many things to praise, but those are my overall thoughts. Just like really great performance, but this team is set up to just do it the way that Izzo has always wanted to do it, which is just relentless, basically playing harder than you and generating, these kind of edges around the margins with offensive rebound and transition. And then in the half court, they're just attacking, getting offensive rebounds, and when they hit the shots, they win in a tough place to play by 20.
helps to shoot 50% from three. We've all been looking for that one. They didn't even need that kind of a shooting performance from behind the arc, but definitely keeps us fans lacking sweat during the second half, which there's nothing better than just watching a Michigan State beat down, especially in conference play. But the thing that really impressed me the most about tonight's game, and this is something that Steve Bardo, the color analyst for Big Ten Network, he pointed this out too. When Michigan State started on that 18-3 run, he said, well, it's kind of the strategy in a way for Ben Johnson. They're not going to crash the offensive boards too much. They want to get back and really set up that picket fence in transition, make sure Michigan State doesn't get out running and scoring. And look, Minnesota's not a good team. Let's not get it twisted here. But they still had a good defensive strategy. They haven't played good defense going into the year. With the strategy and Minnesota playing strong defense, they still broke that and still made hay in transition. Again, 27 fast break points. And then when they did settle into that half-court offense very quickly, they were getting those fast passes off. It just looks like a different half-court offense in general from years past. It's so that's what really caught my eye, is that you broke what a team was designed to do and stop your transition. It didn't even matter what Minnesota did, because you carved right through it like a hot knife through butter. It was just a delight to watch. I mean, God, I could have a tear come from my eye right now. It's great.
I don't have the minutes distribution for Minnesota in front of me. They played 9 guys, but they just were not. They didn't have the energy to. It's one thing to say that. It's great that their coach said that was what they were trying to do. But I watched the game and Michigan State ran right past them, so it wasn't working. And even when Michigan State wasn't getting transition points, Kohler was beating his man down the floor, and the transition 3-point attempt turned into an offensive rebound and a foul and 2 free throws. So, there were even phantom transition points that don't even count. Yeah. It was just and so many things off of sort of early offense where they've pushed the ball, that first action is stopped. And then that, as you say, they get right into a quick pick and roll. And it's in the case of this game, they were just they were prime Spurs,
yes.
One touch passing, Barcelona, La Masia Academy ball. It was beautiful. Zapala had one play where he caught it on the roll, on the short roll, and he took kind of contact, the defender kind of took him on his chest, and he got it to Carr, who threw it down. And Carr had I think 3 dunks and then a foul just off of standing in the dunker spot, doing the Birdman on the Miami Heat routine of just catch, jump, and dunk. So yeah, it was beautiful. The geometry of the court, the way that they were able to shoot today, but also the way that they, I think, generally keep enough shooting on the floor with these lineups. And the percentages have been really bad to this point for Michigan State.
Of course, yeah.
Fiddler, finally, he really deserved both of his to go down. The one he missed was where he created the offensive rebound and got a wide open look. They're taking good looks. Booker obviously got a few to go down. He played a great game against North Carolina. And then, in part because he sort of abandoned the 3-point shot. And it was nice to see him do it a little bit today while also getting his hands dirty a little bit. So yeah, that helps just kind of create a little bit of space. But I think the big thing is with MSU's ball handlers, Richardson, Akins, and Fears, they really get 2 feet in the paint a lot. They get downhill, and Holloman, can threaten more with the step back jumper. Mm-hmm. But, there was a play early in the game where Richardson had a pick and roll going to his left, and double team just dribbled all the way around it, got all the way into the paint, and then just passed it right into Booker's shooting pocket for an inside out 3.
That driving kick was cooking today. It was just masterful.
Yeah. Masterful. And Fears 1 for 1 on 3-pointers, 2 for 3 from the field, 10 points, 4 assists, 1 turnover. The 1 turnover was also just an overly, bodacious, kind of aggressive, trying to hit Zapala for an alley-oop, when Zapala was no, just pass it to me. I'm huge. I don't need to jump. Just throw it to my hands,
I'm good, man.
and I'll toss it in. But he played a brilliant game, just going to the rim, getting fouled, going to the rim, finishing through contact.
Yeah.
And when you keep doing that over and over again, it's that Marshawn Lynch quote, again and over and over and over and over and over and over again, run through an opponent's face.
Yes.
So just, very satisfying to watch. It's like that game was the equivalent of watching a football game where the other team can't stop the run. And you're like, just feed it, baby. Just keep running that thing right down their throat.
That is a great analogy right there. We're, of course, going to keep talking about this game here in a hot second, guys. But first, we need to talk everyone's ears off about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's right, guys. You know what? I fancied a few wagers on FanDuel today. Dawson Garcia over 17.5 points. Had to hedge my happiness a little bit, but also took Jaden Akins over 15 points. Now, that didn't hit, but man, I'll tell you what, in a 20-point blowout, and that's going to keep you a little involved in the game. State fan or not a state fan, guys, they have it all hooked up over at FanDuel. Again, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just as a FanDuel to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets when you win that first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, let's drag him back here. It is Sam Martin. And you know what, Sam? Pop quiz time. Are you ready for this? I'm going to throw you on the spot. This is very mean of me. All the viewers, too. All the listeners as well. Either get a notepad out, maybe a pen, or don't. What do the numbers 33, 56, 37, 30, 40, 26, 45, and 43 mean? Are they the latest Powerball winning numbers? I don't know. Those are a lot of random numbers. I don't expect anyone to get this right. But Sam, do you just have a guess in those numbers that are mostly in the 30s, some in the 40s, one in the 50s here?
Is that Michigan State's 3-point percentages in different games?
It is Michigan State's bench points in the 8 games they've won this season. Sam, those were high numbers I just said. That's a lot of points coming. And in tonight's game, the most recent number I said, 43 points. This is a theme throughout the season, is that they are getting it done off the bench. We actually got a mailbag question, lockedonspartans@gmail.com, in the middle of the game, just saying, like, does it matter who even starts in this lineup? And it's like an age-old, like, cliche sports talk question to throw back and forth to each other, but, like, does this team need an alpha? Like, I know that maybe you want to go-to player late in the game, but do you, Sam? It seems like this is working right now. Going 9-10 deep, I know it's unconventional, but it seems to be working out here in East Lansing.
Well, not only do they go 10 deep, but like Kurt Tang is coming. Late in the game, got a rebound, went all the way to the rim, got fouled when Michigan State was beautiful. Up 18 or 17 at the time, and I just said Spartan. Loud.
Yes. There he is, right there. I identified
and that guy. And that guy gets threes up. He gets coming into the game was getting 15 threes up per 100 possessions. So, they're going to need that at times. So, yeah, I think they're going to keep playing all of these guys. Let me throw a question back at you. Who do you think are the 5 best players on the team, regardless of position? Not necessarily thinking starting or closing lineup, but if you just had like kind of 5 best basketball players.
5 best basketball players. I'm going to go with young gun Jace Richardson. I'm going to go with the senior Jaden Akins. I like myself some Jaxon Kohler so far this season. This is where it gets a little tough after Coen Carr, who is that 5th guy. Oh, man. Is it going? Am I going to say Xavier Booker after essentially, like, I don't want to say I would trash the kid, but very critical of him in the first 6 games, because these last 2 have been pretty nice from our guy Xavier Booker here. So I guess I'll go with, against all odds, him for the 5th one. It's a good question, though.
Yeah, I think certainly the first 4 are kind of obvious. You said, Akins, Richardson, Kohler, Carr.
Mhm.
I would say Holloman, has been
That's a good
their
one
next
too.
best guy.
Yeah.
And especially with what he gives them from a shooting perspective.
Yeah.
But as you say, it does get really tough around 5, and then it's really like kind of what's the matchup, what are you looking for? And within the guys that we named in the top 5, you can play different combinations of them. And basically, of the lineup combinations I saw MSU play in this game, the only thing that I didn't love was when they had Cooper and Booker as the front court, because there just wasn't enough passing between the two of them. I think they did like a high-low play, and Cooper tried to throw a lob to Booker and just threw it out of bounds. And it was like, that's asking a lot of Carson Cooper to put him in that position on offense, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, I think if you're going to have, Kohler on there, then you can kind of pair anyone with him. But if you've got Booker or Cooper, you probably only want to have one of those guys. The other guy needs to be Kohler or Carr, who offer just kind of different aspects. But overall, I think it's a very versatile group. And no, I don't really care who starts. I think Holloman has definitely earned it, and he's very steady. The one thing that matters in terms of who starts is MSU got off to a great start in this game, and that is really important, especially on the road. Going up 9-3 early as they did takes the crowd out of it, and the crowd never got into it. And then, it really helps you solidify, it's like in soccer, getting that first goal, like changes the game state to your advantage. I think if you can get out to an early lead, it can do that, especially on the road. So you want to have a group that can do that, but I think MSU has a lot of groups that can do that. And, Izzo loves to bench a guy who makes a mistake. So he's in a great situation. He's got a lot of options that are credible options as starters.
No shortage of opportunities to do that. I got to shout out Steve Bardo again. Second mention for the guy in Big Ten Network. He had the line of the year for me right now. It was so quiet in Minnesota's gym that he said that you can hear someone change their mind. That's how quiet it was. Like that. That is one I'm going to steal and use at a later time. So he was on fire today. Really enjoyed the broadcasting crew after the complete opposite.
I did as well.
I thought
they did a great job.
Oh, I mean, come on. Like Big Ten Network just dealing us the goods. Speaking of, not to go off on a complete tangent here, but the game before ours, Ohio State, Maryland, where Maryland beat them by about 80 points. What do you do if you're Robbie Hummel in the second half? Like, that's got to be the worst job in the world. Anyway, let's get back on track here, Matt. Sorry, we're going way out on a limb. That line that you talked about with Cooper and Booker did not work. That's really when Minnesota had their only good run of the game. And then after that, Michigan State goes on a 17-0 run. 8 points by Mr. Coen Carr himself. Of course, he had that great sequence, block on one end, dunk on the other. Of course, Kohler, he was working the boards during that run. He had a really good offensive board that led to an Akins 3. They had just great closeouts in general on the other end. We've talked about how well the defense played today, but let's just keep with Coen Carr here. Is he who is impressing you the most this season? I keep asking guests this question after Michigan State basketball games because again, no shortage of candidates for a question like that. Is it Carr, or is there someone else that's catching your eye a little bit more, Sam?
Well, I mean, we just have to talk about Carr after that game, because I wrote this down. In one continuous game sequence of gameplay where there was, I think, only one stoppage, he set like a bone-crushing screen that delivered a shot to the groin of the star opposing player.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And knocked him down for an extended period. Clean play, didn't mean to do it, meant to hit him, happened to hit him where it hurts. Okay. So does that, then on the ensuing possession blocks or contests and forces a miss on a dunk, then runs the floor, throws down an alley-oop. Minnesota brings the ball back. Defensive possession, ball rotation. He gets a steal, goes down, transition, and one finishes. Like, And I wrote, in my notes, Coen Carr God mode, just like as the game was
that's
going
enough
along.
said. Yeah.
He, I mean, what he can, that athleticism, it's really like Dawson's the last guy to do it.
Yeah.
Richardson was like that, like Shannon Brown, Mo Ager back in the day were kind of like that. But I mean,
Mo Ager, let's go.
He's learning how to control his powers a little bit more. The Pistons have this shooting coach named Fred Vinson, who was famous on the Pelicans for sort of teaching guys like Lonzo Ball and Herb Jones and some other guys who really improved a lot in their time there to shoot. And
Oh, lost you. I think I think your mic is muted, unfortunately. Oh no. But that is oh no, technical difficulties.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you, baby. That's right. All right, so you left off at Herb Jones.
Okay. So anyway, the Pistons hired this shooting coach from the Pelicans, helped a bunch of guys shoot better. I think the MSU coaching staff should just set up a little visit to the Pistons facility and Fred Vinson for Coen Carr. Just get some ideas in there, just confidence, get some drills, because if he can ever if he never learns how to shoot a jump shot or hit free throws, he'll still be an amazing player because he's great right now. But if he can get some confidence on those shots back, then oh my goodness.
December 17th, Michigan State plays Oakland at Little Caesars Arena. Now, here is the question, though, as, Michigan State basketball fans. Obviously, we love Coen Carr. We want him to do well in his life. Do we wait until this offseason to approach a shooting coach? Because we don't need this kid skyrocketing into lottery boards, right, Sam? I mean, I'll edit this all out. This is very mean to say that we're, trying to stifle a kid's growth, but maybe just this offseason. One drastic improvement at a time. He went from dunker to good interior player. Now next year's good interior player to, oh my goodness, a shooter. I think that's the proper steps that we take here.
If Coen Carr and Jace Richardson are first-round NBA draft prospects, it probably means MSU is looking pretty nasty in March. So
good things happened.
I'll take my chances on that.
Let's drive the conversation that way. Is before the season started, I said that what will make or break this season, as far as success versus failure goes, is does this team raise a banner? Whether that's Big Ten's regular season, sure, Big Ten tournament, I guess you could talk me into on a good day, or of course a Final Four. Now, I said, too, that I don't expect these things. This will be very hard for them to do, but at a blue blood program like Michigan State, that's the expectation here. It's been far too long since we've gotten to those heights. I'm starting a little bit to believe, obviously we're just one game into a Big Ten season, and you beat the team that might end in the basement, but look around. It's not like there's any other, defiant, Goliath teams. So is a Big Ten title just one game in too much to ask for? This might sound stupid in a few games, but catch me with some dip in my chip right now, Sam.
Easier to ask that question after 1-0 than 0-1.
It is a little bit, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see on that. I think this team's going to look bad at times when they face somebody that can kind of park the bus against them, pull out kind of what did teams do against those old Izzo teams? If we think this team is playing like them, well, the Wisconsin just parked the bus and did first team to 40 wins. So, this could get ugly in the half court a little bit at times when the shots aren't falling. We've seen that this year. That'll happen at times, but I think the more that they can continue to cultivate that aggressiveness, even within their half court sets, they were playing so hard and running off of screens and really everybody moving quickly, passing quickly. If they can continue to kind of bring that level of execution, then, we'll see. Some of these guys are quite talented. I think that Richardson and Akins and Fears and Holloman are all pretty talented guards. And the fact that you're going to have 2 or 3 of them on the floor at all times, and then, we just talked about how talented Carr is. We kind of mentioned how talented Booker is. Kohler has really turned into a solid, like an excellent rebounder and solid guy. Zapala can pass the ball, can defend in a drop coverage. Cooper, does his, like, these guys kind of just like do their roles, and they have so many of them. But, are they going to run out of creativity and offensive talent at times? Probably. But then again, especially those 4 guards, I wouldn't bet against 1 or 2 of those guys kind of becoming real go-to guy clutch performers that, help them win games on the road as the season goes along, which is obviously what you have to do to win the Big Ten regular season championship. But I don't know. All I know is to this point, like, these last 2 games, I found my joy back. Like, they gave me my joy back. Like, this is ethical hoops to me. This means something to me, man.
Yes, it does. It does, because like we're actually happy watching Michigan State basketball, and of course you're happy after a win. But my God, like, we'd be lying to ourselves if we said that there were some wins last year that just felt like you're pulling every single tooth out of your gums. It was just like, why does this not look like the Michigan State that I grew up on as a wee child, as a high school child, as a college student? Like, MSU had a DNA for a very long time, and then there was a ripple in that fabric recently, and I thought that we would never get back there, but I just, game by game, inch by inch, again, this wasn't the first game that we've seen that this year. The last game wasn't the first either. We've seen this happen throughout the season where it's like, oh yeah, rebounding, running, defending, half court offense where you're actually passing the ball. I like where things are.
I'm just saying, Matt, think about, it's 1999. Okay. Michigan State has a point guard who has recovered from a tragedy, one a rollover car accident, one a firearm wound. They have a shooting guard named Richardson, who's a true freshman off the bench. Okay. They have a hyper athletic swingman who throws down crazy alley-oops. Okay. They have a white stretch 4 who rebounds the ball and hits trailer walk-up threes. Okay. They have, like a crazy athletic young guy, big man, thinking Anna Gagne, Xavier Booker here. Okay. Like, sure. I'm just saying, we've seen some time is not necessarily a flat circle, but it does rhyme. History does rhyme. Okay.
God, this is good. You know what? We're ending it right there. This is great. Good luck to anyone sleeping tonight after that. Oh man, just visions of Xavier Booker splashing threes home in San Antonio dancing around your head as your head hits the pillow, everyone. Oh man. Sam, apologies. It has been far too long since we've had you on. I was thrilled to have you on after this game, especially after a great Michigan State win on the road, opening up Big Ten play 1-0. Where can the fine folks find you out there on the Twitter sphere, should they want to chat it up more hoops with you?
Yeah, always on Twitter at Move Better Sam. Mostly post about physical therapy and movement and stuff like that. But there's no more beautiful expression of movement than a Michigan State basketball fast break.
Look at that. That is a double plug right there. One for hoops, one for, that's good that you actually post about things that actually benefit people, not just, the same college sports team over and over and over again. You're a functioning member of society is what they call you, Sam. So appreciate you lending some of your time right here. Locked on Spartans. Same to anyone that watched, that listened. You guys are all truly the best. Love you all. We already know it. We're going to be back tomorrow. We got Stephen Brooks of 24/7 Sports joining the show. But until then, enjoy the rest of your night. Love you all. Go Green.